think you have to walk around a little bit. You've got to address this personality, so bear with me. I'm going to spend a little bit of time just talking about networking, and I think it's a great topic. A lot of folks have touched on it already about how important it is for your job search. And I guess a few reasons why it's important. One, I think probably required to get a job is to have a network and to have a network of contacts. Secondly, it's really a great learning opportunity for you. If you get out and network and meet people in different industries and different jobs that you've never heard of, then you'll learn something that you never knew before, and that's good. And third, you'll probably develop an opportunity through the course of your networking that you never knew about to start with, and that's always good too. So, what makes an effective network search? I think it starts with some of the things that Catherine Bass was talking about, developing a personal narrative, thinking about what you want to do, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a really specific position that you have in mind, but have some interests, have a field that you're interested in. It could be as specific as the technology industry in California. It could be as broad as I'm interested in Latin America and I want to figure out a way to get down there and work down there. And that allows your contacts to help you if they understand what you're interested in. And frankly, they're more interested in helping you if you're passionate about and you're excited about. So think about that before you start your networking and develop a way to talk about it and to communicate that to the folks you're reaching out to. The second step I would suggest is to actually develop a list of contacts and think about who you can reach out to in the areas of interest that you identify. So one tool that's been talked about a lot is the Sewanee Gateway. Another tool, if you're active in church, you could think about people in your church that have careers that you're interested in. Maybe there's a volunteer organization and somebody you work with on the weekend there is doing something that you thought was interesting. Basically think of all the people that you know of that are doing interesting stuff and reach out to them and talk to them. And the next part of it is actually making the call, sending the email, and reaching out to someone and talking to them. And I just got a few words of advice there. One, in your initial contact, be concise and be brief. And make it easy for someone to respond to you. One way to do it would be, if someone's in something you're interested in, send them an email and say, hey, Catherine, I'm interested in nonprofit work in Atlanta. I'm a Sewanee senior, and I was wondering if you might have some time to talk in the next 2 weeks. So that's an email that she can read in 15 seconds. She can look at her calendar in another 15 seconds and shoot you a reply in 10 seconds that says, yes, I'm free on Tuesday at 10 o'clock. So give them a time frame, ask for an appointment, and then follow up with a phone call. And if you don't, and you may also include in your email, I may follow up with you by phone because they may not respond to your email. We all get a lot of emails, and just because we don't respond by email doesn't mean we don't want to help you or we're annoyed by you. It just means maybe we're busy. So you can just follow up with a phone call and you call and say, hey, I sent you an email last week. I was wondering if there would be a time in the next couple weeks where we could set up a time to talk. It's really that easy. I know it's probably going to seem a little uncomfortable the first few times that you do it, but after a while you'll get used to it and it's not that hard. So I guess when you call and when you speak to someone, demonstrate that you prepared a little bit. Do a little homework about the organization that they work in, and have some questions that you want to ask them that you genuinely are interested in. What made you want to choose the timber industry to get into? What about that is exciting to you? What does a regular day look like? There are all sorts of different questions. How will the energy bill affect your business if it's passed through the Senate? So just think about some things that you'd like to know and have a list of questions that you'd like to ask. And then before you get off the phone with this person, ask them for other people that you could contact that may be able to help you. So maybe your conversation with them is about a specific job and an opportunity, and that's great. But more than likely, it's just an introduction, and you're just establishing a relationship. And it's a great opportunity to take that first phone call and turn it into 3 potential phone calls. So before you get off the phone, say, do you know of anybody else in the industry that might be able to help me, or that I might be interested in talking to? And more than likely, they'll have a name or 2 or 3 that they can talk to. That they'll say, yeah, call Brian, here's his number, he'd be happy to talk to you. And that way your contact list goes from 3 contacts off the Sewanee network to 9 that are working in the specific industry that you're interested in. And then from the 9, it goes to 27, and it's exponential. And then when you've actually talked to that person and you've started developing a list of contacts, I would suggest being pretty organized about it, keeping track of what you did. So when I was in graduate school, I was looking for a job in the timber industry, and there weren't that many people in business school looking for jobs in the timber industry. So I had to be pretty organized about networking, and I had a spreadsheet that kept track of who I talked to, when I talked to them, and what they do. So a spreadsheet that has their name, their company, this pen doesn't really work, but you'll get the idea, their industry, a contact history, and this one is key, and then some sort of kind of catch-all comment. So this is how I did it. There's probably a million different ways that you can do it. But by the time I finished my graduate school, I had a spreadsheet with 125 different names in it. And if you want to now, without that spreadsheet, if I saw somebody, or if I got an email from somebody, I would have no idea when I called them and when I talked to them. But here I had a record that I can go back and say, yeah, I talked to them last February, and we talked about this. Or, oh, and I did remember to send them a thank you email after we were done. And I kept a record of that. And that's a really valuable tool, because, and folks are talking about the challenging economy, you're probably going to have to do some legwork and do some networking to get a job. And if you've developed a list of 30 different contacts, it becomes hard to keep track of in a hurry. So just keep it written down somewhere so you can remember who you've talked to and what you said to them, and maybe capture a specific item of interest that you could follow up with them about. And I guess the last thing I would say is, have fun, enjoy it. You'll learn a lot. Searching for a job is hard. It's maybe not the highest things on our list of what we choose to do with our free time, but it's important. And if you see it as an opportunity to learn some things, then you'll really get a lot out of it. And you'll probably uncover some opportunities that you never even knew about.
Thanks, Charlie.